Yeah, I got a haircut. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate you, pal. Listen, last week I made something of a banger. And by banger, I mean I realized that maybe 15 minutes of laughing at AI fruits isn't a good recipe for views. Either way, while I'm still investigating the validity of that, last week's video was where it was at. And in that video, I specifically zeroed in on two specific types of fans, shippers and power scalers. And I specifically like that comparison because the two of them will never admit it, but they're just the same thing. A power scaler is a glorified shipper. And as I talk, I'm already starting to realize that this video is going to make me feel like a child. Anyway, I think we should talk about shipping.
Release me!
Okay, so it looks like we're talking about shipping first. Sounds good. If for some godforsaken reason you don't know what a shipper is, they are people who will get into fandoms and theorize about who wants to bang with who. It's not super complicated in concept, but of course we're talking about people on the internet, and we always manage to steal asshole behavior right from the jaws of kindness. So if you dare to disagree with a shipper, well, you know, you'll be in for an earful or a doxing. And if you're really unlucky, an earful and a doxing. Wait a minute. But that usually only happens when you're shipping grown men. It says flash BTS on the screen. Do it. Now, in my last video, I talked specifically about how rude they are, but right now, I'm here to specifically discuss what a good shipper looks like and what a bad one looks like, and I'm in a good mood, so let's start with the good. For one thing, I can definitely say that shipping goes hand in hand with story writing, and a lot of the time, the good shippers, as I will call them, are just using the evidence that's in front of them, like Goku x Chi-Chi. My evidence? They're married. Pretty simple. In that regard, shipping is good, since it's just connecting dots from the story. Of course, though, they'll receive all sorts of hate from the loud majority of shippers, that being the bad ones. The bad ones are the people who completely ignore the narrative so that they can push an agenda that they like more.
I have to break your neck. It's just the way it is. I'm just a messenger.
Like Nobara x Maki and JJK.
There he is, beating that dead horse. Get him!
I spoke about the ship a little bit last week, but I want to specifically focus on them as my example of what toxic shipping looks like. See, I'm already feeling the brain rot in my skull. Next week, I just need to bake a cake, I think. I don't know. I'm looking at the fucking screen, I know it, and I know I've already put a thing in the video that says look at the camera. Sorry!
Shut the fuck up!
So there's one prerequisite I'd like to get out there for Nobara x Maki. It's not canon. It's a million miles from canon. It's not true. And it's baseless. That being said, I don't care if artists or fanfic authors want to get in on a ship, that's just for fun. What I'm highlighting are the people who go on Twitter and will just make posts attacking Yuta x Maki shippers, which, if you're wondering, that's the canonical ending. They're married in the sequel. But you know what? If you ask a Nobamaki shipper, they'll burn you alive and then turn around to keep fetishizing lesbians. And yes, they're fetishizing lesbians. I can't even imagine how you could say they're not. Because there's no connection between the two. I'm sorry. That's not true. Of course there is. There's that one line Nobara said at the start of the story where she said that she really respects Maki.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
I hate to say it, but respect isn't a sign of romantic affection. But of course, if you say any of that, then you hate lesbians. And that's not cool. Now, of course, there's no issue with just saying Nobara and Maki are in love for fun or for an AU or literally anything, I feel like, is probably harmless. But why take an objectively incorrect opinion and die fighting for its canonicity? It's the kind of shipper I'm talking about. The people who will gladly take up the uninformed opinion, the opinion of a LARPer even, and then go attack people who are just celebrating what's canon. And let's not forget, people who are ready to start gang wars in the street and probably blow up cop cars because Deku didn't end up fucking Bakugo. Listen, I hated the original ending of MHA as much as the next guy. I mean, who doesn't? A superhero story where the MC has no powers and doesn't get the girl is pretty fucking bad. But they fixed it so he did. You know why? Because it's the multiple series spanning payoff to a romance story. There are multiple scenes of them having so much romantic tension, you could practically see it in front of you and just grab it like it was a fucking object. And yet, if you make a post about that being canon, there's a 50% chance that a Bakugo x Decker X-Decker. Bakugo X Deku shipper will curse your bloodline and fucking kill themselves in front of you, or some crazy shit like that. My main point is that being toxic as a shipper is usually difficult, and yet all of them manage to be the biggest assholes on the planet. But of course, at least you have to actually talk about shipping to invoke their wrath. Power scalers are a different animal altogether, and this fucking bird is the other one. So, power scalers. You have one of two opinions on them. You don't care, or you really care. And my job is to get mad at things on the internet, so I really care. Because power scalers are falling into the same hole that shippers are, where they're shoving themselves, and Goku most of the time, in places where they clearly don't belong. Like, yes, I am aware that Goku is strong. But, unfortunately, this is a kid being buried in a one-piece coffin, so tell me about it another time, please. I know, expert usage of hyperbole. Anyway, the issue with power scalers is that for the most part, they just don't argue with themselves, which is the part that you would expect, but no, instead they choose to constantly and incessantly argue with other people who aren't power scalers until they feel like they've proven their point. It's embarrassing, especially when the power scaler doesn't actually know what their favorite character's feats mean. They let the actual intelligence scalers do all the heavy lifting and then paraphrase what they read on the Verse Battle Wiki, which, just by the way, Verse Battle Wiki is the worst thing to happen to fandoms outside of literal crime like pedophilia. All it does is attach made-up labels to non-existent evidence. But that's enough. That's a website that could get its own video when I'm famous enough to put in any amount of effort. So, for now, we'll leave it at that. But, Jesus Lord, the Verse Battles Wiki is like the holy bible for teenagers who desperately need to prove that their goat is better than yours. It kind of goes against the nature of fiction to me. Fiction shouldn't have all the numbers that power scalers go to war with each other over. Don't get me wrong. Tell the viewer what's going on, but going too far just leads to a character who is mountain level. Now, mountain level, if you're not a power scaler, means absolutely nothing. But mountain level in power scaling means that they are, and I quote, capable of destroying, vaporizing, or significantly damaging an average-sized mountain. So there you go. Supposedly Meruem from Hunter x Hunter is a mountain level character, but I refuse to spend another 5 minutes on that website finding out if that's true. Put simply, most power scalers, with exceptions of course, are hugely egotistical and will fight literally tooth and nail to prove their fictional character is stronger than your fictional character. And, I just find that annoying.
I'm getting this weird feeling that you're angry.
Now, with all of that being said, no matter how annoying they are, most power scalers and shippers are harmless. Even the annoying ones. They most likely just want something to be mad about. Or at least that's usually true for power scalers. Shippers will just attempt to rip out your throat for anything. But just, avoid talking with the crazy people. Crazy power scalers, crazy shippers, and definitely avoid pro shippers. I was considering talking about them, but I decided against it because, But listen, here's my question to you, my dearest little audience love bugs. Which is worse, power scaling or shipping? I asked my friend and here's what he said.
What is the worst kind of fandom enjoyer? A shipper or a power scaler? Why?
Because they force everything. Power scalers use evidence. While it's loose, it's still evidence.
So, take that into account and, yeah, let me know. Outro.
I think both are like teenagers.
Okay.
They're not really like doing much.
That's alright.
Except for like harmful words.
Final question, do you like black people?
What? Yeah, I do.
Final question, do you support black people?
Yes, I do.
Final question, who would you say is more likely to win a race, a white man or a black man?
I am not.
A 6'5" white man or a 5'5" black